All right. So we're going to
You don't think the
join the
government knew
lead
about that?
attorney live as he
Who do the
discuss
police work for? Oh,
this
the government.
horrible, horrible death in Mexico.
I'm not
You
speaking
know,
specifically on whether Daejhanae
Shanquella
was arrested or not.
Robinson.
I'm trying to give you guys
There's been so
a
many
fucking context.
turns and
I
different avenues
know
that this case has spun out to. But let's see what the lead attorney says about that.
how messed up
And
this video is.
we're going to
We've
cover
all seen it.
this live. Here we go.
I understand the anger. I understand the rage. I've had people come on my channel and say that all six, the Cabo six, all six should get the death penalty. The death penalty. They want them to burn. All six. Fine. What's the problem? In that rage, it gets extended. So now people, they want the doctor. The doctor, the nurse lady, they want her to burn. Got extended again. The two cops that were in there want the cops to burn. I saw in a comment on one of my videos that someone said that they wanted the parents of Cabo 6 to burn. And then someone came up on my panel the day before yesterday and said the same thing, that the parents of the Cabo 6 should burn. Fine. What do we got now? Anybody know what we got now? Gerardo. Gerardo. We want Gerardo to burn too. Fucking put Gerardo in it. Why? Because he said something and there wasn't any proof. Oh, well, fuck it then. Let him burn. That's a mistake, guys. I get it. I get it. I'm telling you, though, that that's a mistake. We need to step back. Guys, if you want to accept his first article that everybody was praising, but then the second article comes out and you say, I don't see any proof, I'm going to wait on it. You can do that. You can say, I'm going to wait on it. Why? Because I don't know. You guys might not know this, but Gerardo did this for a living. He's still working on the case. You think the FBI is going to go down to fucking Cabo and talk to the prosecutor and come back and tell you what's going on? Do you think the FBI is going to tell you anything on the front end? Are they going to give you any information? They're not. It's not their job. There's only one person who has the job of an investigative reporter who has the contacts in the government in Los Cabos. And that's Gerardo. The same, the same man that a few of you want to burn now. While he's still working on the case. That's a mistake. If you want to say, again, I'm gonna wait on it. He says that there's been an arrest. I went on CNN. I didn't see anything. I'm gonna wait on it. That's reasonable. That's totally reasonable. But to call him a fraud, why does he have a cash out? Because I fucking told him. Because I see the work. I lived in Mexico. I have seen dead investigative reporters. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen dead Gerardos. You go live in Mexico and you go see a few dead Gerardos, and then you see if you recommend that they get a damn cash out, that they get a damn Western Union. Oh, Nick Cannon's kids are suffering. Okay. You have no idea what suffering is. None of you would do his job. And the first person who wouldn't do his job would be me. You couldn't give me $1 million to do his job for 5 years. $1 million every year, $5 million. I would never do it. I would be down there and a damn cartel member say, "Hey Lee, we're gonna cut your balls off if you keep doing this." I'm going back to Atlanta. Fuck all of that. So I'm not gonna long stroke y'all. And my man is here, and I'm gonna bring him up now. All we know about Gerardo, none of us is sitting down in his living room. None of us is eating at his kitchen table. All right. All we can see is what he's doing. But he is doing work on our sister Shanquella Robinson's case. Guys, no one else is doing. Listen to what I'm telling you. He's doing work that no one else is doing. And he's still working on it. All right? If you don't want to believe that there's an arrest yet, that's reasonable. Because where's the mugshot? Fine. But all this, he's a fraud and he's in it for the money? That's a mistake, in my view. Could I be wrong? Maybe. I don't think I'm wrong at all. All right? Are we on the same page? Right? All right. So, shout out to MTR. Without further ado, let us bring up our man, Gerardo Zuniga. Gerardo, how are you doing?
Hi.
I'm sorry.
Hi.
Un momento. Okay. I forgot about something. Shout out to Claudia, man. Claudia sponsored my last stream. I can't read it because the chat's going so damn fast. But let me explain this. Gerardo, he's working on the English, but it's hard. All right, it's hard. So I am going to interpret for you guys. All right, now I'm not, I'm not AMLO. I'm not super fluid, but I'm pretty good. So this is what's gonna happen. I am going to tell you guys what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it in English. I'm gonna ask him a question. Then he's going to respond. I'm going to translate that, and we're just going to have a nice conversation. After the conversation, I am going to invite some of you up, a few of you, because this might be a lengthy conversation. And I don't want to monopolize all of his time. In fact, I need to ask him how long he has. Let me slow down this chat because y'all are killing it. I'm inviting a few of you up, and if y'all want to ask Gerardo face-to-face some questions, that is perfectly fine. All right, he has no problem with that. Okay? So all this is going to be interpreted, so we're going to need a little bit of patience, but we're going to get through it. We're going to ask the questions that you want answered and other questions. He's going to give us information about what he's doing. And let's just keep in mind, guys, that the man that you see on the screen was the only one in Mexico investigating this with his contacts in the government. All right? Everybody loves the first article. The second article is fucking flip. That should not be how it goes. Not for a man who's actively working on this case. All right? So, with that, I'm just going to, we're going to start this. It's going to be a little bit, touch and go because it's interpreted, but y'all just hang with me. It's going to require a little bit of patience, but the information that he's going to give you is so important. All right. We're not going to talk too much about the events, so much about what happened in the hotel room, because Lord knows we've all seen it, but we want to talk about the arrest, if there has been an arrest, the procedure. We want to know about all of this, right? And that's kind of the focus. And then after we get into all that, I'm going to bring you guys up if you want to ask some questions. Okay? All right? Okay. So I was just saying, Gerardo, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all of the work that you have been doing in this case. Gerardo, muchas gracias por venir. por todos tus esfuerzos, tu trabajo en este caso. Realmente estamos muy agradecidos. Muchas gracias por haber venido.
Estoy cumpliendo con mi trabajo y mi labor informativa de investigar cada paso, cada detalle en el caso Shanquella.
All right, yes, he says that he is all in on the case that he has, on investigating the case. Every detail of Shanquella's case, he is on it, right? And he's committed to it, okay? So let's start off with the question of the day, all right? You reported that there has been an arrest, that Daejhanae has been arrested. Is that true? And if so, why do you think that's the case? Ok, vamos a empezar con la pregunta número uno, ¿verdad? Usted, bueno, tú hiciste una noticia que la señora Daejhanae fue arrestada. ¿Por qué piensas eso? ¿Y qué nos puedes decir en cuanto a eso?
Ok, primero que nada, quiero comentarles que el trabajo que nosotros hacemos como periodistas de investigación es investigar lo que está pasando al interior de las estructuras de gobierno.
Ok, y vamos a hacer esto porque yo tengo que traducir lo que dices, entonces voy a estar interrumpiéndote, ok, en cada rato para interpretar. He says the first thing he wants you guys to know is that, you know, his job as an investigative journalist is to investigate, you know, inside the structure of the government, of the system.
Okay. Este caso de Shanquella es un caso muy complejo. Justamente ocurre cuando tenemos un nuevo sistema de justicia penal en México que no permite que las autoridades salgan a informar a los medios los datos importantes de una investigación.
Okay. He says this is a complex case. This case is occurring at a time right now where we have a new system, a new judicial system, a new penal system. And this system does not permit the prosecutors to come out and tell or inform the media about some of the details of the case.
Entonces, como no podemos nosotros obtener la información por la vía oficial, los periodistas que nos dedicamos a la investigación tenemos que recurrir a fuentes informativas al interior del gobierno para obtener datos e información de lo que está pasando de manera extraoficial.
Okay. So because we can't get information officially anymore, we have to go inside and get inside government information in a way that's kind of extrajudicial. All right, it's outside the normal process.
Fue así como obtuve información de que la joven Daejhanae Jackson había sido arrestada por agentes federales en un lugar que se llama Connecticut.
Okay. According to his sources, listen, guys, Daejhanae Jackson was arrested. She was arrested by the FBI. She was arrested in the state of Connecticut.
El 21 de noviembre, la Fiscalía de Baja California Sur, que investiga el caso de Shanquella, solicitó al gobierno de Estados Unidos
Alexa, spell attorney.
una orden de arresto con fines de extradición de Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Y en base a los tratados internacionales para que sea presentada a México.
So on November 21st, the prosecutors in Baja California asked the United States for an arrest order for Daejhanae Jackson for her extradition back to Mexico.
Desde el día 21 de noviembre, cuando solicita la captura, un juez federal, un juez de la corte, declaró a Daejhanae Jackson prófuga de la justicia mexicana por el delito de feminicidio, por lo que solicitaron su arresto para que sea presentada en México.
Okay. Since that date on November 21st, a federal judge declared that Daejhanae Jackson was basically a fugitive of justice from the Mexican system.
La información que yo obtuve fue que a ella la habían estado ubicando de Charlotte y había la última ubicación donde la localizaron fue en Connecticut, en casa de unos familiares.
Okay. He's saying that she was finally located in a house in Connecticut. It was a house that one of her family members had.
El debate hoy es ¿dónde está Daejhanae Jackson? ¿Fue arrestada? ¿No fue arrestada? ¿Cuál es el debate que se está generando ahorita en todo el país sobre la noticia que nosotros publicamos y que muchos medios nacionales y de Estados Unidos replicaron sobre su detención?
Okay, so he's saying the question is now, guys, where is she right now, right? Was she really arrested? What's going on with the information that we published that now a lot of other national news media is publishing off the information that we published, that we provided?
Desafortunadamente, para los medios de Estados Unidos ha sido muy complejo el poder tener información de primera mano en virtud de que ellos están allá. Yo estoy directamente aquí en el lugar donde ocurrió el homicidio y puedo tener información de lo que realmente ha pasado, sigue pasando y va a pasar sobre el caso de Shanquella.
Unfortunately, for the people in the United States, it's complicated to get the information firsthand. But I'm here. I'm here where the homicide occurred, right? I can get the details.
Entonces, como periodista de investigación, nuestro trabajo no es esperar a que la autoridad salga y emita una declaración oficial sobre un hecho que ha pasado. Nuestro trabajo es investigar, corroborar esa información y presentarla a la opinión pública para que sepan lo que está sucediendo o lo que sucedió y no esperar el proceso que de acuerdo a la ley del Tratado Internacional de México-Estados Unidos tardará aproximadamente 30 días en darse a conocer de manera oficial.
Okay. I'm gonna say this, guys, but this is important, and I wanna highlight this. He says, listen, as an investigative journalist, to be honest, it's not our job to wait until the news media puts out information. He says, that's our job to present information to the public. And we are not going to wait for a legal process, which in the United States can take up to 30 days to present this information to you guys.
En ese sentido, nosotros logramos obtener esa información y fue que la dimos a conocer. Ahora, en Baja California Sur, ningún funcionario puede dar a conocer de manera oficial la información sobre un proceso que se está sobre un caso que se está investigando.
Okay, and he says, so this is how we got this information and we published it. Okay, he says in Baja California Sur, the officials now cannot give information about an open case, a case that's being processed and investigated.
El artículo 311 de la Ley de Delitos contra la Procuración y Administración de Justicia finca a cualquier funcionario que salga a hablar sobre un tema como un secuestro, homicidio y feminicidio, una pena de 3 a 7 años de prisión y una multa de 200 a 500 días de salario.
He says that according to Article 311 of the Penal Code, or whatever code that they have down there of the law, it says that whatever official, government official, violates this prohibition on speaking on open cases, whether it's a femicide case, a homicide case, or a kidnapping case, whatever official violates this prohibition can be sanctioned with a fine, and I think is, like he said, 3 to 7 years in Mexican prison. Dijiste 3 a 7 años de prisión, de cárcel?
De 3 a 7 años de prisión.
Yes, 3 to 7 years of prison.
Entonces, nadie puede exponer a los medios de comunicación a un imputado en los casos cuando se lleve una detención. No se puede, en México no se puede.
He's saying in Mexico now, these prosecutors cannot give detailed information about a defendant when there's an open case to the news media.
Eso nos ha obligado como periodistas a cambiar un poco el sistema de cómo investigar casos, cómo obtener datos e información para presentarla a la opinión pública y poder exponer información de manera extraoficial, mientras la autoridad puede hablar del caso. En el caso de Jackson, la autoridad únicamente va a poder hablar cuando ella sea vinculada a proceso penal, cuando ya un juez le haya fincado responsabilidades. Hasta entonces la autoridad va a poder salir a hablar y a dar toda la información y todos los detalles de lo que aconteció desde su detención.
So listen, and just to kind of go back a little bit, there's been a change. I talked to you guys about the change in the system. Do y'all remember that? I talked to you guys about that about a week ago, how the old system was in Mexico and the new system. The old system was crazy. All right, it was crazy. The new system has come in to add more fairness and more justice and more due process. All right. So he's talking about, listen, now that there's a new system, guys, this has made the way that we as investigative journalists, it's made us change the way that we get information and present it to the public. Now we have to do it in a extrajudicial way. We have to do it in an unofficial way. He says in Jackson's case, Daejhanae Jackson, the only way that the prosecutors, that the government can talk about the case is when Daejhanae is already down there and a judge has legally attached her accusations to her, right? Up until that point, the government officials are not going to be able to say anything.
La ley de extradición internacional que tiene México dice muy claro que únicamente va a poder solicitar extradición de personas que hayan estado involucradas en delitos dolosos, en este caso, crímenes, feminicidios y secuestros, única y exclusivamente.
Okay, he says so that for the international extradition laws that the United States has with Mexico, he's saying that the people that can be extradited under these laws are only people who have been charged with murder, kidnapping, and femicide.
En este caso, cuando México solicita el día 21 de octubre de noviembre, el día 21 de noviembre, solicita la orden de arresto con fines de extradición de Daejhanae Jackson. Para darle formalidad, solicita que se adopten medidas preventivas. Esto quiere decir que se protejan los derechos de la detenida, que no se viole el debido proceso, que no se viole el principio de inocencia en México.
Okay. This is important. It says, listen, on November 21st, when Mexico asked for a special type of arrest warrant that included the request for extradition to Mexico, because of course the case is going to be heard in Mexico, there were also requests for special protective measures, measures that would protect Daejhanae Jackson, right? So that her rights are protected in Mexico under the new system.
Entonces, debido a esta ley de extradición, es complicado que en este caso el gobierno de Estados Unidos salga a hablar del tema porque la investigación se está haciendo en México, la solicitud de extradición se hizo en México y solamente está colaborando con la investigación en el tema del arresto. Ellos traerán posiblemente su propia investigación o estarán trabajando con los datos que la Fiscalía les otorgó para ver el tema, pero quien ejecuta y hace todo el tema legal es México.
He says, so it would be weird, guys, if the United States government went out and talked a lot about this case, because to be honest, it's a Mexican case. The case happened in Mexico. The murder happened in Mexico. The trial will be in Mexico. Maybe United States government officials are carrying out their activities and their investigations with Mexican information or information that they've obtained by themselves. But the person that they are trying to get will be involved in the Mexican process. So this has very little to do with the United States.
Esta situación ha generado un silencio completo de ambos gobiernos porque recordemos que aunque Daejhanae Jackson sea acusada de homicidio, la fiscalía tiene que demostrar plenamente que fue ella quien asesinó a Shaquella.
Mm-hmm.
Entonces, no puede salir a exponer el tema hasta que sea vinculada a proceso.
So this situation, the fact that it's Mexico and the United States, and the fact that Mexico has this new system, it's made this situation have a certain silence to it, right? Where neither government is going to say a lot. She was accused of femicide in Mexico, which means that the Mexican government has to prove that she did it. So the Mexican government, under the new system, can't come out, start giving out all of these details.
En mi teléfono tengo más de 100 llamadas.
Espérame. I just saw someone in the chat. Let me see if I can. I'm not looking at the chat, guys, because I'm working up here. All right, shout out to me. I'm from Decatur. All right, I don't know nothing about this damn Spanish, but I just saw Stephanie Solomon, and Stephanie Solomon, thank you so much. Stephanie Solomon said, "I need Mr. Zuniga's Cash App." Okay, for people who want to support what Gerardo Zuniga is doing for our fallen sister, you can absolutely do it. All right. Cash App right now is not the best way. Mr. Zuniga has an account with Western Union. I'm sure it used to be you had to show up at the Walmart to do it. I'm sure you can just do it now on your phone or on Google. Just go to westernunion.com. The information, just all the information that you need for the Western Union for Gerardo's account is in the description below. Thank you so much, Miss Solomon. Thank you so much for people who want to support the work that this man is doing. CNN is not doing it. ABC is not doing it. They're waiting on him to do the work. They're waiting on him to make the articles, and then they all come out and copy what he said. Somebody actually has to go into the damn burning building, right? This is the man that's doing it. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for saying that. Anybody who's, and if you have it to give, if you don't, it's just personal. There's no pressure or anything like that. But if you appreciate the work that this man is doing, please consider sending this man something. It can be $2. Right? I never ask for cash apps or anything for myself, but I will, on a rare occasion, 2 or 3 times a year, ask that you guys send some money to this gentleman. So this is one of the 2 or 3 times a year that I ask for money for anybody on this channel. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Nada más estaba informándoles en cuanto a lo de tu Western Union. Okay. Sí. ¿Qué me decías?
Te decía que en mi teléfono tengo más de 100 llamadas de medios de comunicación de Estados Unidos que han solicitado información. Yo les decía a ellos, yo ya hice mi trabajo, que fue haber informado lo que sucedió con la chica Jackson. Ahora a ustedes les toca hacer su trabajo, que es investigar dónde está, en qué área está ella, para que le den a conocer a la opinión pública, ¿verdad?
So he's saying, listen, he can look at his phone right now, and he has over 100 calls from the news media asking him about information. What is he saying now, especially with some of you guys saying that he's a fraud? He's like, oh, okay, I did my job. All right, y'all want to call me a fraud? You do it. Why CNN? Why are you calling me? ABC, why are you calling me? I'm freestyling this, right? But let me not, I'm an attorney, so I like to freestyle. Let me just stick to what he said. He said in his phone, he has 100 calls, over 100 calls from news media, news outlets asking him for his information. He says, I did my job. Now you go do yours. You find out where she is. All right. I already told you she was arrested in Connecticut at a family member's house. Why don't you investigate? Why don't you find out where she is? Okay.
Okay. Entonces yo les decía a esa situación, pues porque a final de cuentas, nuestro trabajo es, nosotros como medio y como periodista de investigación, yo jamás me espero a que la autoridad vaya y me diga, sí, detuvimos a tal persona, o que espere la información ya que fue vinculada a proceso, porque eso lleva un tiempo. Entonces, ese es el trabajo importante que estamos haciendo. Somos el único periodista mexicano que está informando sobre el caso Shanquella. Somos el único medio de comunicación aquí en Los Cabos que está informando todo lo que aconteció y rodea el caso de ella. Aquí yo no he visto.
Okay. He says, listen, our job as investigative journalists is to actually do the job. We don't wait because that takes time. That's the important part of our job. We are the only news media in Mexico that is publicizing all of the details in this case. We're the only ones.
Yo aquí en Los Cabos, yo no he visto radio, difusoras, televisores, periódicos, medios de comunicación de Estados Unidos. No he visto a ninguno aquí donde se está generando la información. Todos han estado, muchos de todos ellos han estado solicitando la información, pero desgraciadamente, como les decía al principio, el nuevo sistema de justicia penal no permite hablar del tema, y eso ha generado como desesperación de los medios de poder cómo obtener información, porque no tienen personas aquí en México. Y se ha generado.
Says in Mexico, I haven't seen radio, down here. I haven't seen the TVs down here. I haven't seen American news media down here. Now they're all calling and asking for information, but they can't get it because of the new system. This has given them a desperation to try to get this information.
Entonces eso ha generado mucha desinformación, información falsa, rumores, muchos comentarios. Ahorita las redes sociales es un tremendo debate por el tema de si Daejhanae fue detenida o no fue detenida. Es un tremendo debate porque los medios de Estados Unidos no están informando nada, no tienen información. Nosotros sí la tenemos. Entonces, nosotros estamos haciendo ese trabajo y nosotros estamos informando a la opinión pública lo que está pasando en el caso de Shanquella, porque así nos lo ha pedido a la gente.
Okay. He says this, so this is bread, the fact that they are locked out because of the new system, this American news media, the fact that they can't get any information, this has led to a lot of desperation. This has led on to rumors and to false information. And now you have this issue about was Daejhanae's arrested or not? What's the problem? The problem is the American news media isn't giving any information because they can't get it.
Okay. Entonces el caso de Daejhanae lleva un proceso de acuerdo a la ley de extradición. Más o menos el gobierno de Estados Unidos deberá de tener un plazo de 20 a 30 días para poder resolver si extradita o no a esta chica. ¿Por qué? Porque ellos cuando al momento en que reciben la solicitud de extradición, ellos reciben toda la información del expediente. Ellos tienen que hacer una revisión de documentos, de pruebas, de elementos, para poder ver si la investigación está bien fundamentada y procede la extradición. Porque ellos también.
So he says, so according to the law, there's going to be a time period of about 20 to 30 days to decide if Daejhanae is actually going to be extradited to Mexico. Once the United States receives their request, they get the entire file. Then the United States has to look at the file, look at the documents, look at the evidence to decide if this is a bona fide case or not. So once they review all of that in the 20 to 30 days, then they're going to make that determination.
Recordemos que a pesar de que ella está acusada de un homicidio, también tiene derechos que el gobierno de Estados Unidos tiene que hacer valer. Entre ellos, escuchar su defensa, facilitar los recursos legales para que ella se defienda también, como asistencia de un abogado. Y en dado caso que después de todo se revise el expediente y si consideran que hay elementos, entonces proceder. Y si no, tiene 30 días para proceder. Si no, pues simplemente, si no hay elementos, simplemente ellos van a hacer su trabajo, que es proteger a su ciudadano americano.
He says, so we need to remember, guys, I mean, we all saw the fucking video, all right? I added that. I want to inject myself into this so bad, but try to keep it clean. He says that we need to remember that Daejhanae has rights, basically due process rights. So the file about whether she should be extradited or not is going to be reviewed. And if after that review, they determine that there's not enough evidence to extradite her, you know, they're gonna assume the job that they have to do, which is to protect her because she is in fact an American citizen, right? So the United States isn't legally just gonna toss her away. They're gonna go through the due process because she's an American citizen, and they're just gonna say, okay, we're not just gonna give you to the Mexicans blindly. We're gonna take a look at this and see if there's see if there's a base. Is there a legal base for this? Is there a legal justification?
Entonces, dependiendo las pruebas la fiscalía tenga en su contra, es como se va a resolver su caso. La acusación penal que hay en contra de ella es por el delito de feminicidio. Ese delito en México tiene una penalidad de 30 a 60 años de cárcel y una reparación integral de los daños. Entonces, la Procuraduría o la Fiscalía de México ha logrado obtener elementos, según la información que logré obtener de un informante dentro de la Fiscalía, que tiene elementos suficientes de peso para poder acusarla de manera formal del homicidio de Shanquella. Y no solamente es el video.
Says, okay, so the accusation against Daejhanae is femicide. And according to the law, that is a crime punishable from 30 to 60 years in prison and a fine. He says, now the prosecutor has certain facts, certain proof. And this is according to his contacts that he has, that Gerardo has in the prosecutor's office, that they have certain proof that she committed this crime of femicide. And it's not just the video.
Entonces, la Fiscalía tiene, en esta investigación que hizo, en el expediente tiene pruebas como testimoniales de dos personas que prácticamente la están señalando.
Uh-oh. 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 Oh, I know y'all want to know what he said.
Home.
That's a home run, exactly. He said that according to his contacts in the prosecutor's office, they have more evidence than just the video. They have testimony from two people that are talking about the case and that are pointing fingers. Wow. And let me just take a second again, guys. Do you think fucking CNN is going to tell you this? Do you think ABC is going to tell you this? Do you think fucking Fox News gives a goddamn about black people in Mexico? Who thinks? I know some of you guys are so fucking Republican. Do you think Fox News is going to tell you about this? About a black woman being murdered by black people in Mexico. Fox News of all people. There's only one person giving us this information. All right. I didn't want to long stroke you at the beginning, but I had to like set a context for not so many of you have been so supportive. I am not going to lump you all in with the fucking few. All right. But we really need to understand and put some respect on this man because he is doing a job that none of us would do, and especially not for the money. All right. So, I mean, he's giving us information that is astounding, and only he has these contacts.
Entonces, hay pruebas suficientes, testimoniales, y hay material, audios dentro del expediente de algunas situaciones que se generaron entre Shanquella y Jackson cuando venían de Estados Unidos a México.
So he says, listen, guys. Wait, 1 second. He says, so in the file, there's not only the video, of course, but there's testimony from two people. And there is audio in the file, audio between Shanquella and between Daejhanae's while they were coming to the United States, while they were coming from the United States to Mexico.
¿Cómo vinculó la fiscalía para poder acusar a Jackson de feminicidio? Para poder acusar a una persona de feminicidio, uno de los elementos que se necesitan es tener una relación afectiva entre ambas personas, sea una relación de amistad o una relación de sentimental. Esos son elementos importantes para que una autoridad o la fiscalía aquí en México pueda acusar a una persona de feminicidio. No cualquier, ahorita te pongo un ejemplo, no sé si les quieras explicar eso.
Okay. He's saying that, so how has it come about that the prosecutors have accused Jackson of femicide, right? He says, now listen, one of the factors to be able to accuse someone of this is that there has to be some type of relationship between the people. It can be a friendship or it can be a sentimental relationship, but there has to be some connection. This is fundamental in order to accuse someone of femicide.
En este caso, la fiscalía logró una entrevista con el papá de Shanquella y él fue el que testificó que había una relación de amistad de mucho tiempo entre ambas, lo que va a valer como prueba para poder demostrar que había un vínculo de amistad que databa de mucho tiempo atrás y por lo tanto es un elemento para poderla acusar de feminicidio.
Right. Entonces, los de la fiscalía entrevistaron al papá de Shanquella. Wow. Okay, guys, listen. What Gerardo is saying is that in this case, the prosecutors were able to get an interview from the father. And the father testified in that interview, or stated in that interview, testified might be the wrong word. The father stated in the interview that there was a friendship between Shanquella and between Daejhanae's. And so his testimony provided that fundamental factor of the friendship that the prosecutors would need in order to charge Dion as a femicide case, as a person who has committed femicide.
Entonces, por ese delito de feminicidio, se castiga con de 30 a 60 años de prisión y en este caso, si es encontrada culpable, pues va a tener que ser condenada a ese tiempo. Hay otros elementos de prueba. Se pudiera decir que agravan la situación, porque se movió la escena del crimen, se alteró cuando pasa que la agrede a golpes, la mueven del lugar donde ella quedó, la cambian a otro lugar, cambiaron muchas cosas dentro y no fue sola. Hay otras personas involucradas de las que no me gustaría todavía hablar, te lo diré más adelante sobre quiénes más están involucrados en este caso.
Okay. Cuando dices que la movieron, ¿de dónde a dónde?
De la habitación del segundo piso donde ella estaba hacia la sala.
Okay.
Ahí dejaron su cuerpo. De hecho, le pusieron ropa, la cambiaron.
Okay.
Entonces, eso es un delito. En México es un delito porque estás alterando la escena del crimen.
Okay. Wow, guys. Okay, so he says that. So for this case, it's kind of 30 to 60, 30 years to 60 years if she's found guilty. And if she's found guilty, then she's going to have to serve that time. He says, in addition, this is so deep. He says, in addition, there's other proof that aggravates the circumstances. He says that they moved her. Um, they moved Shanquella, and also that Shanquella was not alone, that there are other people. Now, he says that he can't talk to us about these other people yet, but he would tell us later. So I said, well, hold up. When you say they moved her from where to where? He says, yes. They moved her. She was initially in the second story bedroom, and then they moved her to the family room, and then they put clothes on her. And that's an aggravating factor. That's an aggravating circumstance because you're basically tampering with the crime scene. Guys, this is so deep. CNN is not going to tell you any of this.
Por eso es el que el caso Shanquella ha generado, vamos a decir, una situación muy compleja. Ha sido un caso, de hecho, cuando sucede el caso de Shanquella, los amigos tratan de engañar a la autoridad que investigue el homicidio. Ya no digamos el reporte y todo eso que ya quedó atrás. Desde que la fiscalía asume la investigación, lo primero que se encuentra es un intento de engaño por parte de ellos. ¿En qué sentido? En el sentido de que mintieron al negar que haya sido golpeada. La autopsia de Shanquella duró aproximadamente 3 horas. Y se terminó la madrugada de las primeras horas del día 30 de octubre. Se terminaron de hacer la autopsia. Y cuando terminaron y fueron a interrogar a los amigos de Shanquella, ellos ya no estaban en la villa, ya se habían ido, se habían cambiado de hotel.
El hotel, pero se cambiaron del hotel, pero todavía estaban ahí en Los Cabos.
En Villa, sí, en Cabo. Estaban ellos en Cabo y se cambiaron a otro hotel para que ya no les preguntaran nada.
Wow. Guys, listen to this. Listen to this. He's saying, guys, listen, he's saying this is why the case is so complex. He says that when the case first occurred, the friends, they lied to the government officials, right? And so the government officials noticed this immediately. He says so that when the government officials looked at the case, they noticed the fraud, the lies. First, the friends lied, saying that she hadn't been beaten, right? Then they conducted the autopsy. When the autopsy came back, the officials went to look for the friends. Guess what? The friends changed hotels. They changed hotels. They fled from one hotel to another hotel in the same area. But they didn't just switch rooms, they switched whole hotels to evade the officials.
Entonces es el trabajo que nosotros hacemos como investigadores, es obtener toda esa información que no tienen muchos medios, desgraciadamente, porque no están en el lugar donde se está generando la noticia. Y el trabajo de nosotros es precisamente hablar con los investigadores del caso, obtener información en un lado, información en otro, y vas armando un rompecabezas de qué fue lo que pasó. ¿De qué fue lo que pasó?
Guys, this is so important what he says right here. And again, he's kind of intimated it before, but we all should know this, all right? He says, listen, so this is our job as investigative journalists that other news media cannot do because they are not here, right? Our job is precisely to talk to the investigators. and you're getting information from here, you're getting a little information over here, you're getting a little information over there, and you're trying to put it all together. You're trying to put the pieces all together, right? This is something that only he can do.
Entonces, esa es la situación que se da. Y por eso nosotros a veces como que entendemos que nos cuestionen y digan, porque es difícil para muchos poder hacer el trabajo que nosotros hacemos, en ese sentido, arriesgando nuestra integridad, arriesgando nuestra vida, porque estamos ante un caso realmente complejo, un caso peligroso, incluso para otras personas que están involucradas, ¿verdad? Entonces, es una situación muy difícil y se ha manejado con mucho sigilo, con mucho cuidado. Primero porque la víctima es una persona, en el caso de estadounidense, entonces asesinada por otra estadounidense. Entonces es difícil para las autoridades manejar este tema, porque aquí ya intervienen las embajadas, derechos humanos, entran una serie de instituciones que tratan de cuidar mucho cómo se está haciendo la investigación, que no se sepa mucho, que se mantenga como reservada la información, ¿verdad? Pero
Okay. So, I mean, everything that he's saying is so true, guys. He's saying, listen, so that's the situation. And, we can understand why some people question us, because it's difficult for others to do what we do, to get the information that we get. Plus, and you guys have seen this, you guys have seen some of these videos talking about this man. He says his reputation is on the line. Their reputations are on the line. Their lives are on the line. And he said something very interesting. He said not only are their lives on the line, their reputations on the line, but the lives of other people and the reputations of other people. Because let's not forget, Gerardo is getting this information from somewhere. All right? And maybe it's from a place that should not necessarily be giving this information. So everybody's ass is on the line to get you guys this information and to put out this information so that Shanquella's family, Shanquella's friends, the Black community, and the American community can know what the hell is going on in this case. No one is doing it but him. All right? But he says that this case is very sensitive. It's being handled very carefully. Why? Because let's be honest, the victim was an American who was murdered by another American. So you got two Americans involved, and y'all know how America is. All right, we think we're number one, because we are. But it's like, if you're gonna mess with us, like, you need to dot your I's and cross your T's. So this case has been is being managed very carefully on all sides, talking about the human rights aspect, talking about the international law aspect, the treaties, the international institutions. Everybody's trying to make sure that this case is being handled correctly. That's why it's so hard for this man to get the information that he needs to give to you, because no one else is saying anything about it.
entonces, ¿ustedes creen que después de todo lo que les he platicado a tu audiencia, yo me voy a esperar a que la autoridad salga a darme una declaración? Por favor.
So he's saying, listen, guys, from everything that I've told you, do you really think that I am going to sit back and wait for the national government, maybe the FBI? Am I going to sit back and wait for these people to tell me something to report it to you? It's like, please tell me if you think that's the type of person that I am. That's the way that I would handle this case, right?
Entonces, ahorita lo que yo te estoy diciendo es lo que van a poder leer en el expediente cuando sea la primera audiencia de vinculación a proceso, una vez que traigan a México a Jackson. Eso es lo que ustedes van a poder informarse o saber cuando sea vinculada a proceso. Yo te estoy informando ahorita, en este momento, lo que todos los medios se van a enterar después de 2 o 3 semanas más adelante. Ese es el trabajo del periodista de investigación.
He says, listen, so you guys are going to see what's in the file. You guys are going to read the file. You're going to know what's in the file, but you're going to know what's in the file when she's in Mexico at her hearing. You're going to find out all the details in the file once she's in Mexico and being charged. My job is to try to get you that information before that, before it's known through regular channels, because I'm an investigator. That's my job, to give it to you before it comes out in the regular way.
Pues ahora sí, no sé si tengan alguna pregunta, tu audiencia, que nos quiera comentar algo, o tú que tengas alguna otra pregunta que quieras hacerme, con gusto. Aquí estoy.
Okay.
Tengo
All right.
mucha información, pero no la quiero.
No, eso es perfecto. No.
Con eso es suficiente.
Yeah, yo creo que sí. Por mí está perfecto. Okay, so this is what he's saying. And there are a lot of people in the chat. First of all, how my likes looking? 8,666 people in the chat. If y'all could please hit the like button. Here's what he's saying, guys. He's like, listen, I've told you a lot right now, but I'm willing to answer questions. So if you guys have any questions, here's what I'm gonna do. And this could be sketchy, so I gotta watch it.
10 preguntas voy a contestar nada más.
¿Cuántos?
10.
Okay, so he says he's gonna answer 10 questions. All right, so I'm gonna do this. Yeah, let's just do this. All right, so if you have a question, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put a Q in the chat, put a Q, a colon, and then ask your question. All right, so he says, I'm just gonna try to find the questions at random. And whoever wants to ask a question can. Of course, not all of your questions will be answered, but I'll ask them. Okay. Jewelbox says, who found her? ¿Tú sabes quién encontró? ¿Quién fue la primera persona para encontrar a Shanquella?
Lucy, la agente de servicio de limpieza.
Okay. He says the person that found Shanquella was Lucy. Her name is Lucy. She was basically the maid. All right. Who else has a question? Mar says, what about the doctor? Otra pregunta, ¿qué pasó con la doctora? ¿Qué va a pasar con ella?
Actualmente la fiscalía abrió una investigación para investigar el delito de encubrimiento.
Okay, hold on. I even forgot that. I'm trying to read the chat and trying to listen to Spanish. I forgot the damn question. Se me olvidó la pregunta que le pregunté ahorita porque estaba leyendo el chat. ¿Cuál era la pregunta?
Era de qué pasó con la doctora.
Okay, so the question was, what happened to the doctor? Okay, sí, me puedes repetir lo que dijiste.
Okay, la doctora está bajo investigación por el delito de omisión.
Uh-huh.
No sabemos la etapa que va, pero la fiscalía empezó una investigación sobre ese caso.
The doctor is under investigation right now for the crime of omission. We don't really know too much about that case, but is being investigated right now. All right, Athena asked a good question. She says, "Why is Shanquella's dad denying he's talked to anyone?" All right. La pregunta es, ¿por qué el papá de Shanquella está negando que él haya hablado con alguien en este caso?
No sé, pero no sé por qué está negando, pero eso está dentro del expediente.
Okay. He says, listen, I don't know why he's denying that he talked to anybody, but his testimony is in the file, right? And I will say this, guys. A lot of time, what did I just tell you guys about the secret courts here in the United States? If you've had a case with the FBI, you know that they will put so many gag orders on you. So many times you have to deny. What happened when Google and Facebook, when the government was trying to order them to do things and they couldn't even talk about the court orders and they just had to do it, right? And the court order said that you cannot talk about this order. It was like damn Fight Club, right? Who knows why the father is saying that he hasn't talked to anyone, right? And no one's calling him a liar or anything like that. Come on, y'all have seen the pain in this man's face. All Gerardo is saying is that there's testimony from him in the file. All right, that's a fair question. Who else has a question? Tarsha says, where's the info about the other hotel? ¿Hay información en cuanto al otro hotel?
No tengo la información todavía, pero se las voy a presentar en la próxima entrevista que tengamos. Con gusto les voy a decir el nombre.
Okay. He says that he does not have that information right now, but he will tell you guys the information in the next interview. Yosemite, I can't even see, says, were there cameras in the villa? Había cámaras en el cuarto, en la villa, en el hotel, había cámaras que grababan algo.
Solamente en la parte de afuera, adentro no hay cámaras, no hay cámaras, y dentro de la habitación, dentro de la casa, no había cámaras, no hay grabaciones dentro de más que la que grabaron del homicidio, del ataque.
He says that there were cameras, but only on the outside of the villa. There were no cameras inside the villa, no cameras inside the bedroom. So there was no cameras. Shout out to Evolution of Joy. That's a good question. La Ro dice, ¿por qué los involucrados pudieron salir de México? Why were the involved allowed to leave Mexico?
Porque cuando ellos, cuando pasa eso, se generó mucha confusión por la versión que habían dado y la necropsia se hizo ya muy tarde. Cuando termina en la madrugada la fiscalía y regresa a la mañana siguiente a entrevistarlos, ellos ya habían volado. Volaron a Texas y después a Charlotte.
Wow. Okay, so he says, it took time for the autopsy to come back. When the autopsy came back, the officials came back to look for them in the morning. But guess what? They were gone. Then they went from Mexico to Texas. And then from Texas, they went to Charlotte. Okay. So I've lost count of how we are. We're going to do 3 more questions. Terry Key asks says a very important statement. And it's a statement close to my heart because I've lived in Mexico and I've seen what these journalists have to go through, and none of you would do it. I promise you wouldn't. Terry Key says, my Western Union was returned. Please verify. Entonces, Terry Key dice que regresaron, le regresaron el dinero que Terry intentó a mandar por Western Union. Entonces quería verificar la información. Entonces lo que yo puse, su nombre es Vicente Gerardo Zuniga Pacheco. La ciudad es La Paz. El estado es Baja California Sur. Y la razón es donativo, donation. ¿Todo eso es correcto?
¿Correcto?
Okay. So he says the information that is in the description is correct. If they're asking for some other information that has not been provided, you can certainly let us know. But I really appreciate that, Terry. Let me hit it for Terry for trying to support this man. Thank you so much. Let me ask you. Swagatude, thank you. Swagatude says lead need the zip code. All right, so Swagatude está diciendo que un código postal se necesita. ¿Usted tiene un código o tienes un código postal para lo de Western Union?
23,000. 23,000.
23
000.
Ok, 23,000 es el código postal. 23000?
Ajá.
Okay. Thank you so much, Swagatude. The zip code is 23000. So 23,000, 23000. Let me add that in the zip code. So we're going to do a couple more questions. 23000 is the zip code. Thank you, Swagatude, for saying that. All right, a couple more questions. Thank you, Luke Hazley. Alicia says, is it common for these types of crime to take place in Mexico from the United States? ¿Es común tener este tipo de caso, este tipo de delito, de crimen en México de gente de los Estados Unidos?
No es común. Ha habido algunos casos que se han registrado, pero no es común que si te fijas o si se fijan, el delito que se cometió fue entre grupo de amigos que venían todos de Estados Unidos. No, alguien de México no le hizo daño a Shanquella. Nadie de México le hizo daño a Shanquella.
Okay.
Fue un pleito entre ellos.
Okay. He says, no, this is very rare. You know, no one who harmed Shanquella physically, let's say, was Mexican. You know, this was all among her friends. All right. So we'll close it out with this question because this is a great question. This is from Fanatic. So this will be the last question. And guys, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord that Gerardo has thick skin and is not deterred by some of the little comments that some of these YouTubers are saying. I mean, you're talking to a man, who risked his life, you know, on the one end from cartel members and on the other hand with the government. But I will tell you, you know, if it were me and me being petty and I'm trying to get out information and people are calling me a fraud, I'd be like, okay, you try to get it. We'll wait and see what CNN says. And they'll come back in 3 months. Like, I'm trying to get you the information now. So Fanatic asked a very good question. Fanatic says, okay, are the other two testimonies from the group 6? This will be the last question. Okay, entonces esto va a ser la pregunta final. Pero también les dije a ellos que es muy bueno que tú eres un hombre muy, muy fuerte, porque algunos comentarios de estos YouTubers no muestran que ellos no aprecian el trabajo que ustedes hacen. Y realmente son los únicos que hacen este tipo de investigación. Okay? Esto es la última pregunta. Y es, are the other two testimonies from the group of 6? Los dos testimonios que hay en el archivo son de los 6 amigos.
Es correcto.
Oh, he said yes. He said yes. All right, guys, listen. And this is just the start, guys. Listen, let me just tell you, this case is going to be a long time. All right, this is just the beginning. Daejhanae Jackson is going to go to trial. Guess who's going to be at the hearings? This man. This man. He's going to be at the hearings, guys. He's going to have so much inside information to give us. Again, I've been doing this. I was monetized last year, right? So I haven't been doing YouTube a long time. But in my days as a YouTuber, I have never, ever asked for money for me. Ever. Not a super chat, not a PayPal, not a Cash App. You guys have given out of the kindness of your heart, and I cannot tell you how appreciative I am. I would never ask you for a penny for me. 2 to 3 times a year, I do ask you if you would like only to support someone. And if you would like to support Gerardo, his information for it's Western Union. Do not send the Cash Apps because y'all crashed his Cash Apps. So try to send it Western Union, and the information for the Western Union is in the file. I want to thank Gerardo so much for giving us his time, for coming on camera to clear up some of this information. This will be the first of many interviews, guys. There are 9,000 people in the chat. If everybody could like the video, that would be great. Spread this information. This is the only place on all of YouTube where you are getting this information, this specific information that you have heard today. It is the only place. So please share this information so the rest of our community can understand what's going on. Okay. Muchas gracias por haber venido, señor Gerardo. Zuniga, yo nunca jamás pido apoyo económico para mí, pero sí les dije que si quieren pueden apoyarte a ti económicamente. Solo digo eso unos 2 o 3 veces al año a ciertas personas especiales. Gracias. Y yo considero que tú eres una de esas personas muy especiales. Entonces, nada más les dije eso y también que esto nada más es el principio del caso. Ella va a estar en México en un momento, ella va a estar en un juicio en un momento y usted va a estar siguiendo todo, ¿verdad? Y diciéndonos toda la información. Entonces, realmente, yeah, he says that's correct. I was just explaining to him about this is just the first of the process, and he's going to be following the whole case through. So thank you so much for coming out. Really appreciate all of your time. Muchas gracias por haber venido. Realmente apreciamos muchísimo su tiempo, tu tiempo, tu trabajo, tu entrega en todo esto. Okay, muchas gracias, señor. Everybody put Gerardo in the chat. Everybody put Gerardo in the chat. Hashtag Gerardo. Muchas gracias. All right, guys. So what do y'all think, man?
All right. So I tell you, that was very, very, very enlightening.
Thank you guys for
so
shouting out Gerardo. What I'm gonna do?
We're gonna end this stream here now, if you guys want, because there's gonna be a lot of question and answering basically on the lead channel. So if you want to go over there, his channel is at the lead attorney. At the lead attorney. They're gonna continue the discussion of the case, and they're going to. One second. Okay. Had a person come up in the chat, so we just blocked that person over. So they're going to continue discussion over there of the case. And again, anytime that they have news about this particular case, we're going to go live and cover it. But until then, stay grinding. And I'll see you guys next time.